Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Kick Conflict to the Curb, the place where department leaders and growth minded individuals come to learn the newest strategies on to resolve conflict at home and work. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, Queen of Conflict Resolution, and I support department leaders who want to inspire and educate their direct reports who are feeling tired of being invisible or overlooked and are ready to confidently use their voices without you losing their cool. And the result is their input is respected and recognized, and their expertise is taken seriously. Well, make sure and stay until the end of the program because I will be sharing how you can get a complimentary survey on how to measure how your teams feel about organizational communication. Well, I have a question for you. Have you ever been promoted because you spoke directly to leaders about certain changes and they respected your openness and directness? Well, our guest sure did, and we're going to find out how that worked for him. Well, I'm thrilled to introduce Willie Jones. Willie Jones, Central Distribution Manager, has been a loyal employee for 20 years at Behler-Young Company. He walks his talk and is a motivator and mentor. Willie is a worshiper and father of 3 amazing sons. Welcome to Kick Conflict to the Curb, Willie. Hey, hey.
Hey.
And what people don't know is that Willie and I had one of those conflicts, not between each other, but his system is down at work. And how do you get on the show? Well, he figured it out. So I want to thank you, Willie, for doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And welcome. So let me
Thank you.
put down your name so we can really know who you are. Central Distribution Manager at Behler-Young Company. So, do you have a backstory on why effective communication between managers and their teams is so important to you?
It's very important because they need to understand you, and you need to understand them. Not speaking up and not allowing yourself to grow and understand each other that will cause conflict. So you want to give them a chance and just speak. Just get whatever it is, so that you have an understanding of each other. So
Yeah,
that's kind of basically.
I love that. And for those of you who are watching live or who are going to be watching this later on, please listen to Willie because that's what he does with his direct reports, with his team. And we're going to go deeper and deeper into this, how he does this. Now, Willie, I find that many of my clients, coaching clients, who say to me, Joyce, I'm not listened to. And I leave because of that, because I don't need to feel invisible. Now, what do you do when you have your team come up to you and say that they don't feel heard or respected or their ideas weren't listened to? How do you handle that?
Well, I always want to make sure that whatever ideas that a team member has is taking and respected. You can't take every idea and put it out there, but I want them to know that I hear them. Um, the last thing you want to do is ignore a teammate or ignore one of your employees because it calls them to back away and give and may even pull back on their work habits, and so that means unhappiness. So
So, what have you actually said to someone who, one of your really great team members who finally had enough guts to share an idea, but corporate didn't use it for some reason? How do you explain it to them in a way where they won't become a low productive employee?
well, I mean, you have to be truthful. First of all, yeah, I mean, you have to be truthful with them, and you know, maybe you have a great idea, yes, but at this particular time, uh, uh, the reason why your idea, you know, we can't implement your idea. I mean, you have to let them know, and I think that has worked a lot for me because I love feedback. Feedback is important, and you know, a as a leader, you don't have all the answers, so you want them to give you, some of their ideas, and I just always just let them know that at this particular time, your idea, can't be implemented, and the reason why, and but nevertheless, it's never wiped off the board.
Ah, see what we've got here, folks, is a leader who knows about humility. He just said it. We don't You just said it, not just he. I'm talking to you too, Willie, not just the people watching. You said it. We don't have all the answers, and so many times I'm told that some of the best ideas come from the direct reports.
Yes, they do.
They
They do.
probably even say to them, "I don't have all the answers. Bring it on, please."
Yes, yes. It's very important that they feel heard or feel like they're a part of, and especially when you're building. And again, your direct reports are in the midst of that thing every day. So if they see an idea, well, if the idea works, and after you begin to think on it and make sure that it works for every department that this might, um, impact, um, then hey, I don't have a problem with implementing it. Again, I always tell them I don't know everything, and I don't portray to. So you're having that type of team, or you know keeping your ears open to the other voices and ideas. I mean, will impact your business and what you're doing, what you're trying
Um,
to do.
and again, there are so many leaders, they're not watching the show because the ones who really need it don't, who aren't full of humility, and they tell your ideas. To this day, I have people
Yeah.
say, "I've been told, well, my ideas don't count. You're just a fill in the blank." So I've got I said this in the beginning of the show that you told me when we were not in the green room. You notice, folks, we have the blue and red room. In the blue and red room, that several times you were promoted because you did use your voice and you were direct, and leaders were uh, really, they respected your openness. So please tell us more about that. That's fascinating.
When I started, and within um, 3 months of me being here over 21 years ago, I was moved into the lead man role, and because and I'm confident in who I am. It's not arrogance, but if you walk in confidence, there's greater heights to
Mhm.
your confidence. So I had ideas and and different things like that, and went through a phase of not being heard. One of those people of not being heard until the right ear tuned into what I was saying, and which allowed me to grow. And I tell you, I went from um, lead man for 15 or so years to supervisor a few years, and now to branch manager because I believe in me first of all, but
Mhm.
I believe more into what I bring to the table, as far as knowledge and far as team building. Um, so it all work. It works, and it's been working well. Not saying that every day was great along the way, but
Mhm.
I'm at higher heights now, and I love it here.
Well, the fact that I almost fell off my chair, and that wouldn't have been good for you to lose your host, 21 years. And I
Yes.
know you said you didn't start as a center distribution manager.
Oh my God,
Can you
no.
tell us how you 21 years ago you were hired? Tell us the story.
21 years ago, I was hired in as a temp. My first job was supervisor at the time. Took me out back of the building and took me into this area where it was a bunch of broken skids and oh my God, it looked like maybe probably a Sanford and Son area. And he's like, I need you to clean this up. My first mind was to say you're crazy, and this is my first and last day within an hour of being here. And but you know what? I humble myself, and it's it wasn't a task bigger, and I'm like, you know what? You have to start somewhere, and this is your test. Either you're going to start here or you're going to quit here. What you're going to do? And I chose to start there. And 21 years later, if I would have left, I wouldn't be where I am now.
And this is such first of all, thank you for that story. Um, and what everyone has to realize, and leaders, what a great story for you to share with your team. How about your own first day where you work and how you absolutely may have wanted to quit, just like Willie did? It's either going to be my first day or my last day. But Willie, you made a conscious decision to nope, it's not going to be my last day. I have to put in the test. I can't be a leader right away. But
Right.
there's so many people who do quit right away. Oh, I wasn't brought up to do this.
Yes.
Or I have a degree. I wasn't told to do this. Well, that will stop an opportunity that people don't even see. It's too late. It's because they quit. So
Yes.
try to remember. I mean, the first day that I was a facilitator, oh my God. I mean, that's when I switched from being a keynote where I was in front of thousands of people to become a facilitator, small groups, of which I worked at your company for a training too. And
Yeah.
the first time it was a nightmare. And during it, I said, "Ugh, this is it. I'm just going to be a coach. I'm not going to be a facilitator because no one got up when I said, okay, everybody get a partner. No one got up. When I shared a story that was one of my signature stories that people clapped or said, wow, that's great. They just stared at me like deer in the headlights.
Wow.
Well, afterwards, I went up to the person who hired me, even though I was devastated. And he said, oh, Joyce, I forgot to tell you, the team had a 4-hour cocktail party.
Oh
So
my
if
God.
I would have asked the question, what don't I know? I wouldn't, I wouldn't have even had any self-doubt. So
Wow.
yeah, that's a wow. But that's
Yeah.
the story that I share because it's the truth and it my God, after I learned that, I said, okay, I know now what story or what question to ask. Is there going to be liquor involved before I
Right.
come on? So
They're pretty
folks,
tired.
let's take a quick break. We're going to be back for more with Willie Jones. You're watching Kick Conflict to the Curb. Are you ready to stop feeling invisible and start feeling confident using your voice? Let's set up a complimentary Jam with Joyce call to improve your relationships and finally get that inner peace. If this is something that you want, send me an email, joyce@joyceweiss.com, and I'll send you my calendar. Well, welcome back, folks, to Kick Conflict to the Curb. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, and I'm having a great conversation with Willie Jones. And Willie,
Absolutely.
as we come back, what ramifications? Oh, this is a deep one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What ramifications have you seen when management or direct reports avoid conflict? We know that there are a lot of people watching who are saying, "Oh, this sounds good for you, Willie or Joyce." I don't like it. I run away from it. So, what have you seen, if you can, with both direct reports and management who are conflict adverse?
When you don't uh, take the conflict head on and address it, uh, it becomes large. It becomes bigger, and you have personalities that begin to intertwine and to begin to think of different things about each other or whatever the case may be without sitting down as adults and addressing it head on.
Mm.
Um, I know I see a lot of problems that happens when you have certain individual that's not confrontational, but this is that has anything to do with you know being confrontational. I think it has a lot to do with respecting each other,
Thank you.
because it's very important, and for us to grow, uh, we have to be on the same level uh, as men and women, um, in 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 the corporate world or in the management world, or leadership role. You have to be on the same level, on some type of level where um, the conflict needs to be addressed. You
Yes.
it going untouched, or not being attacked or touched on. A lot of things grow from that, and you begin to grow closer. You begin to grow so far apart where it starts to affect your daily business.
And what you just described, Willie Jones, is unhealthy conflict. And
Absolutely.
I write a newsletter, and I think the second one was all about the difference between healthy and unhealthy. You hold it in, leaders,
Yes.
and it turns into unhealthy conflict. You go home and you talk about with your family, and it gets worse and worse and worse. You get to work, and you as a leader start just concentrating on the unhealthy conflict versus taking a risk. And it's not just taking a risk, Willie, it's knowing
Yeah.
how to start that tough conversation. And once you learn, and oh my gosh, all you have to do is follow me on any of the things that I write. It's always about how to start that tough conversation. That's when I think people who are conflict averse, once they say, "Hey, she's right. How do you even
Yeah.
start it?" Well, once you start it and you feel more confident, that's the word you've used a lot today.
Yeah. Oh
You're
yeah. You got to address and you got to be able to notice the energy that's in the room as well. On where to start, because if you don't observe the energy in the room, and you start off the wrong way, it could go left really fast, but then again it could come back, and everybody's on one accord, but you have to observe the energy that's in the room. You got to be able to discern that, or it could go bad really quick.
The
So
thing is, though, what you just said is so powerful. Many times people just they don't know the power of that energy in the room. They ignore it. And it's a
yeah,
huge detail. So I'm going
yeah,
to ask you, um, if you don't mind, if you do, I've got enough questions here to ask
okay,
you. But when you walked into a meeting, let's say something that you were in charge of, not upper management, you were
yeah.
in charge of it, and you noticed that the energy was low, something was off. How have you addressed, since this is about addressing issues head on with passion, how have you addressed a room where, uh-oh, something's going on?
Um, I'm the type that I crack jokes or you
Mhm.
know, kind of, try to change the atmosphere with something before I start to get to the topic of where we're supposed to be at. So, I try to change the atmosphere, with something different than the topic at hand. And once that I feel that we can go into whatever it is that we need to talk about, then I'll do so, um, like that.
That's
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, to me, I can you can feel it. I can feel it. When you walk into a room, you go,
yes.
okay, and so yeah, and I'm thank God for that gift. But yeah, I try to do something different, before,
Mhm.
because when you go into it and you jump right into it, um, again, sometimes it just doesn't go well. It doesn't
No,
end well.
it doesn't. And here we go with unhealthy conflict. So
Right.
this is something that I share in my kick conflict to the curb world, either with my coaching clients or during facilitation. What I would do if I walked into a room, it's like that first facilitation that I shared with you where no one responded. I
Yeah.
would say, okay, I want to take the elephant. I'd actually say, I want to take the elephant out of the room. Something's going on here. What don't I know? And Willie, I've actually used this when I see people with their arms folded. It has nothing to do with me because they don't even know me yet. I haven't even said
Right.
anything.
Right.
And I say,
Right.
okay, what don't I know? And a couple times people said, well, Joyce, you need to know that few people that we adore, they were just let go, and we are really pissed. And if I
Mm,
didn't ask that question, then we talked about that for a few minutes. Then it's like your humor that you use, it's my
yeah.
directness that I use. And
Yeah.
then people share what's on their mind, and then we can go on. But you can't just ignore it,
Right. 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 Yeah.
you know?
You can't ignore it, because the attention is gone. So
Yeah.
you're in a room with dead ears or deaf ears, and nobody's listening because their minds are elsewhere.
Yes. So just to
So
bring it out, you can even say, let's get the elephant out of the room. Something's going on, or whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing,
yeah,
viewers.
yeah.
So could you share some approaches that you use? Because when I interviewed you for this facilitation program that I did, you talked about what you do with your drivers, whether it's the open door. I'm going to give you just so you to remind you some of the things you said. Open door policy, helping drivers with heavy workloads, listening to the team's ideas. So, could you expand on any of those, please?
Yeah, and this it's we have one of our core values is we care for others, and we do the right thing. Which so and I hold my guys accountable for that. So when especially my drivers, light workloads for one might be heavy workload for the other. So I encourage them to help each other, and by not doing so, well, that's one of our core values. If you're not going to help each other, That's a problem for me because now I get a chance to use that back on you in your review or something because our review is best based on our core values and give examples and I love to hear the answers. I love to hear the answers of why not, or why didn't you help, or this and that. Especially
Yes.
when you know that it's our core values. We help each other, and I'm a stickler for that. And there's not my team will tell you I'm really strict on that because I'm this thing is a team effort.
Hmm.
One individual can't do it all, and one individual don't get credit for it. This team gets credit. So when one is down, that means the next man up because you're a
You
team.
You've packed so much into this one answer. So, first of all, when you said, quote, um, I just love to hear the answers. When you have the excuse or the lack
Yeah,
of accountability, when you hear it, how do you address that issue head on without making the person feel guilty? Because they did give an answer, even though
yes,
it
they
was
did.
an excuse. How do
Yes.
you handle it so you bring the bridge in? Hey, our core value is tell us how you handle that, please.
I you're right. And the first and the answer to my response is our core values is whatever the case may be. And so then now let's flip this thing. Now you were the one that needed the help. And there is going to come a day when you're going to need the help. How will you respond or how will you feel if the same treatment was given to you when you were on a heavier day, just like they were? And, you know, you get those head drops like, yeah, you're right. Come on, we're a team here.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and fuss you out and none of that, but the same respect that you're seeking from somewhere else, make sure that you can give it as well.
I love
And
that. And
so very important.
you said something. I swear we could spend on another half hour, which we can't. This is going to be the last question. I mean, part of it. But you said something also very important. This has something to do with the review. We're going to revisit this. So, what I would say in my community when I talk to people is what are you going to do as a result? Yes, you hung your head low and you admitted that you did that. I could live with that direct report.
Yes,
Now, my
yes.
question to you is what are you going to do as a result of our conversation? And boom, what kind of things have you heard them say to you?
Uh, it's funny. It's thank you. You know,
Whoa.
thank you for being always being straight up with us. I'm not the type of guy that likes to sugarcoat things, but
Mhm.
I will put yourself in the situation and let you think about it, uh, and then you tell me how you feel.
Yes.
Because I want that same. I want you to get that same reaction that he got, and then you let me know how you feel. Does that did that work for you, or does that work for us as a whole?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't. Are you part of the team, or are you out here on an island by yourself with no one else around? And uh,
So, question. Have you question like how many people are in this room, Joyce? So, Willie, have you ever had a team meeting with all your drivers
oh,
and
absolutely.
gave oh, let me finish first.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, I'm only kidding you. We're both good and sarcastic. So where you gave that speech where I don't sugarcoat. I live by our core values. And we just need to revisit to make sure that everyone Have you ever done that with
I
everyone
have.
together? So tell us how that goes.
You know, a lot of the guys have worked with me for these over these 20 years, and they know me, which and they know what I expect from them, and they know we run this. I run this building by our core values, and so you know it's nothing new to them.
Yes.
So I've gained I'm just so very glad that I was able to gain their respect along the way,
Hmm.
where they know exactly what I feel. I don't have to be here in the building for them to know exactly what I expect for them to do.
Yes.
That's powerful to me. Because some people will do things when the manager or the supervisor is not around, but
Hmm.
I just thank God I don't have to go through that because they know what I expect from them every day. And they'll know I will find out when you geared away from what it is that I expect from you.
Well,
So
listen, Willie, are you ready for a surprise?
I am.
So this is what Raquel Niles said. Willie, your honesty is so refreshing. She's one of our, and oh my God, here's another one. Are you ready? Sandy, who said, Willie is a fantastic leader who gets great results from his team. His approach creates trust and makes the team a team. Sandy, thank you so much. So you're getting some love here.
I appreciate
Well,
it.
let me ask you something because we are finished with this interview. Will you come back, please, and become a guest again, and so we can go even deeper?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. I enjoy it.
so here is um your email.
Yes,
I have it right. So I'm assuming people who are watching and listening can reach you
absolutely.
at willie.jones@b-y.com.
Yeah.
Well, Willie, thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
you were going to come back, and I appreciate your honesty, like everybody else did it watching this interview. This is not goodbye. You will come back.
Yes.
Thank you. So I sure hope that you enjoyed yourself as much as I did, because Willie is one who, um, with honest, his humility, and if I sure hope again that you watch this and share this interview with other people. And if you liked what you heard today, and you want to stop the drama in your workplace and enjoy coming to work, plus maintain employee loyalty and stop that employee turnover, I created a powerful survey to foster open communication. And I appreciate viewers who watch Kick Conflict to the Curb. And I would send you that survey. All you have to do is send me an email, joyce@joyceweiss.com. And in the subject line, put down, what don't I know? And I will send you that survey. So, how does that sound? So, if you want to stop the drama, if you want to stop the silence and in your meetings and enjoy going back to work, please send me your email. So, I want to thank you so much. You make my day when I see so many people watching, because I only bring the best guests. And if you feel that you'd like to be a guest on the show, all you have to do is send me an email, find me on any of the platforms. It's Joyce@joyceweiss.com. So until next time, Remember, you get what you tolerate.